G'day guys, Steve Morgan here for Fishing Monthly Magazines at the Australian Lure and Fly Expo 2018. It's out at Ipswich, it's a cracking day, and we had a cracking night last night when we presented the 2018 Lure Show Best of Show Awards for the lures. Now, have a look at some of the things in this cabinet here. We had categories of Best Ornamental Lure, Best Blue Water Lure, Best Bib Diving Lure, Best Bladed or Metal Lure, Best Surface Lure, Best Fly, and of course the Best Swim Bait. And what we're going to do this morning is we're going to go and catch up with some of the makers of these lures and find out exactly what their motivations were and whether you can go and buy one. So we've got Blair Chilton here from Chilton Lure Company, and Blair, second year in a row you've won Best Swim Bait. This Chilton Barra is an absolute cracker. Take us through the process of how you build such a realistic looking bait.
Well, it all starts with obviously the idea for Barra. I think, like as an option for, in the salt, in the drains and things like that, and also for the impoundments, obviously big Barra and big impoundments fish. But it starts off literally with a photo of a Barra. So I took a photo of a Barra, a baby Barra in this case, traced out the outline, got it, the shape how I wanted it, and then it's just a case of trying to get it to swim. The good thing about, this thing looks realistic. It's got like the rubber fins, the soft rubber molded fins. Looks realistic, but these fins act like a perfect rudder, and so they do exactly what you don't want it to do. They stabilise it, and so it's a bit of a battle trying to get it to swim how I wanted it. I put out the original photo early on, and hadn't had a chance to fine tune the action how I wanted it, but then it's just a case of tinkering with it. It's time, just trial and error. Working on how I want the face to look and playing around with colours and things like that. So yeah, it's a bit of a time-consuming process, but just trial and error mostly. How's the feedback been though? This is a $350 bait.
Yeah. You've sold a few?
Yeah, I've sold all of them that I've got. I think I've got a couple left at home, but people seem to be willing to pay the money. They sort of recognise that something handmade, something that takes that time is going to cost a bit of money. And I don't know if they throw them or they just keep them in their cabinet at home, but people seem pretty happy to spend the money, which is great. Supporting Australian lure guys who make lures that traditionally you have to get from overseas is, I think, a fantastic thing.
Great looking bait and a worthy recipient of the award. Okay, here we are at the MB Lures stand, the only blue water lures really here at the show with Leigh and Darcy. They had a collaboration and won the best blue water lure. Look just like this fella, and Leigh, labour of love for you guys, isn't it, to make such a great looking lure?
Well, I've made the blanks, but Darcy's the one who's done all the painstaking work. I've asked him how long does it take to paint these, and he's never answered me once because he can't figure it out.
Is that because you're no good at counting, Darcy, or you just love your work?
Bit of both.
This bait here, it really stood out in the cabinet. The attention to detail is immaculate. What inspires you where do the patterns come from?
Good question. I used to breed fish when I was younger. I always had a fascination with anything to do with the anything to do with the marine world. So this was a combination of looking at Spangled Emperor locally and the different in colours to some of the Spangled Emperor overseas, like in Oman.
Yep.
So that was the influence.
The cool thing about all of these lures, that when the prizes, apart from the ornamental, is that most of them are for sale here. Someone wants to take that one home, Leigh. How much is it?
Well, we can't actually put a price on it because we auction them off because we only make about 2 a week. Yep. And the average price is about $400. One has sold for $855.
There you go. So if you want one of these cracking quality MB baits, check their website out. What is the website?
mbcustomlures.com.au.
There you go. And look for the trophy because I'm sure they'll be bragging about it soon. So the star of the show last night at the Lure Awards were the guys from Thug Lures. We've got Chris Anderson, Kim Baldwin, took home 3 trophies. One was for this stand, and it was voted by their peers here at the Lure Show as the best presented stand. Also, they won the prize for the best ornamental lure with that ridiculous Yabby or Cray that you call it there, that has approximately 1 billion hours of work in it. But the really interesting one, that's the real fishable lure out of the one, was the bladed lure. Take us through what's it called? And
the Cod Swagger.
Yep. And what was the motivation to design it?
It was one from last year. We won Bladed Lure of the Year with our baby Swagger, and Chris just wanted to pump everything up for the cod. Yep. So yeah, it took him about 10 months doing all the testing and getting the weight right. He put a lot of work into it, and that's the result, the Cod Swagger.
When I'm at the expo here, I notice a lot of the market is very cod-centric, like guys want cod top waters, cod swim baits, cod this, cod this. Now they've got this cod bladed bait. Have you caught a cod on it yet?
Yes, I've caught a few. prototype testing, first time out, and nailed a couple, lost a couple, but been good.
Have you had those for sale on the stand here, or is that just a prototype?
Over there on the wall, they've been selling really well today, and yesterday.
What sort of price?
$50 for it. It's double hand moulded, so there's a lot of time goes into making it too, so yep.
Every year you guys do really well in the awards, and you think, what am I going to do next year to raise the bar? What are you going to do next year to raise the bar?
Don't know. Chris and I are going to have a few beers and think about where we're going next, but sort of shot ourselves in the foot and making it harder and harder every year, I think so. Yeah,
well, it's always when the show opened yesterday, the early entrants came in and absolutely, they cracked it on your stand here. We saw massive lineups. Congratulations, these guys kill it at the lure show. So we finally tracked down Aaron from Kuttafurra Lures. You won the best BIBBED diving lure award for the Yabby. We talked about this when you entered it. It's a pretty unique looking lure. Can you explain the two different ways you rigged this up for the two different styles of fishing?
Well, that's more just, to give the claw a look, but better for trolling,
That's with the assist hooks?
Yeah, with the assist hooks, And then if you want to just cast normal, you have your treble option, and you can actually swim it across the surface either way and then crank it down for a dive as well.
That's what I noticed about it. When we had it in the tank, it was a very versatile lure. If you want to wake bait it, you can wake bait it. If you want it to go down, it can go down. What was the motivation for this, and what do the little ridges in the back do? It seems to be not very smooth on the back, a lot of water displacement.
I've been mucking around with these sort of bodies for ages, and it's just another creation come from it, really, and you just keep playing with it. And that's what comes out of it. Yeah.
Well, every year you tend to take home some of the trophies. Obviously, what's going on in this noggin here is it's pretty exciting. I don't know what's going on in there, but some great lures pop out of it. One of the great things at the show is all of the fishable lures that win the awards. They're all for sale. How much does one of those guys cost?
They had it at $120.
Price gone up since you won the award?
No. No. So I've got a heap more at home I've got to finish. I just couldn't get them done in time, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
There you go. So all of these winning lures for sale at the lure show. Now, it was one of the smallest entrants in the competition, but the Brisbane Fly Fishing Club's Marcus Walker tied the little blowfly, and it was the smallest one, but it got a great trophy here, and you guys really love coming to the show and showing people how you make these creations. What was the inspiration for the little blowfly?
Well, actually, I think it was the counter to all of the very large lures that we've been seeing, and I reckon, the small flies catch big fish too.
The question I've got is, it looks great, it looks just like the blowfly, but do you catch fish on that fly?
Of course, mainly a trout fish, trout fly, of course, but of course.
Now, tell us a little bit about the Brisbane Fly Fishers Club. You said you're based in Lutwyche. Open to people to come and join if they're a keen fly fisherman?
Of course, we've got about 50 members, and we fish all sorts of water, so plenty of saltwater stuff as well, hence the big tuna, which is our main competition of the year, but we fish all sorts of water.
Awesome. Have you got a website for the club?
Absolutely. Go to us and see us on Facebook. That's where we do most of our advertising, but we got our website as well. Brisbane Fly Fishing Club, bffc.org.au.
There you go, great website, and great to see you guys at the expo.
Thanks very much.
So every year, Barambah Lures tends to take home a trophy. Matty Fraser, we all watch him on social media, putting in the big hours to get it done, and Matt, must be great to get the justification through the Manic. Budgie here wins the best topwater lure award this year. Tell us through the history of this thing.
Yeah, I just love making new creations and lifelike natural lures like crays and lizards, and this one just came out, I don't know, just a bit of an idea. I'm fishing on the rivers and seeing a lot of birds out in the rivers, but sort of needing something to be the right size to throw that the fish will eat readily, and came up with the Budgie, and it's just such a unique Aussie critter, and to make that into something, this is something different. That I like doing something different that people haven't done before, and it's been really well received. So I've sold out of them yesterday. We've got another big batch at home ready to come through. I'll be on the Facebook page in another couple of weeks. But I just love the expo, and it's great to be get an award for it.
How did you make the Budgie sit still for long enough to get him into that mould?
All timber. So we just I just studied them, photos of them, and got the shape right. There's a lot of curves. They're a little bit harder to sand than a standard lure, just because there's a fair few curves and shapes to get it right. And also there's a lot of work in getting the action of them right, getting the bib position, the toe point position. It's got a weight here, it's got a prop tail on it, which I actually put an aluminium tube in the back of it so that doesn't get flogged out from the prop tail working. So there's a whole heap of engineering goes into it, like 2 weeks worth of non-production time and just in development. So, you know, with everything I do, it's not just the time in making it, it's the time in developing a new lure, and it's great to that it's so well received. And
what price they go for? How many did you have, and how many? What price are they?
They're $90 each, and I had 25 here yesterday that went in the first hour. And I'm also doing them in a paddler as well, a paddler bib on the front without the prop tail. But this is the Manic version, which is the wake bait bib, so you can actually use him walk the dog action really well as just a straight retrieve. And as you can see behind here, it really produces the goods. It's just a good, awesome casting lure, big hook exposure on it with big 3/0 trebles, 6H rings. So I think it's going to be a win. It's at a price, you know, it's a top end price, but it's still a fishable price, not like some of the other really expensive stuff.
The last question is, if someone tried to shoplift that, would they be called a budgie smuggler?
Absolutely.
So there you go. There's the incredible minds that have come together to create those fantastic lures that all of the patrons here at the 2018 Lure Expo have seen and enjoyed. If you like the sound of this Lure Expo, keep an eye out on lureshow.com.au, and we'd love to see you here next year.